We'll be working on discussing fractions today. You can pause the video and do your little warm up. Let me know the answers you get. So for a fraction of 1, we're going to be revisiting what we did a couple lessons ago. For these problems, we're going to have a square, and that's going to represent the whole amount. A whole amount can represent pretty much anything. It could be 10 dogs, a whole pizza. All of these can be considered wholes. It doesn't just have to be one. It can be any amount of things as long as that is the entire whole. $100 for the cost of a toy, those types of things. We then split it into equal parts based on the denominator, and then we shade in how many parts we want based on the numerator. So our first example is 2/5 of 1. So remember, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw ourselves a square, and then we're going to break it up into somewhat looking equal parts. So that is 5 parts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the denominator down here. And then we want to shade in 2 parts. And so that's what 2/5 of 1 would look like. 3/4 of 1. So we're going to split it into 4 equal parts. For fourths, you can split it in half and then split those halves into halves. Then we want 3/4. 1, 2, 3. For 2/3, again, somewhat of a square, and shade in 2 parts. Decimals are going to be something that you may need for various reasons. We cover this in depth in 2 years from now. So next year we do fractions for our curriculum. Then the year after that we do decimals. But just a little bit of conversation about decimals. A decimal is pretty much just the same thing as a fraction written in a different way. So you might see a decimal written like 2.4. It's 2 4/10. 3.8. 15.624. These are all decimals. The decimals are what comes after the point. This point is called a decimal. So a good way to think about decimals is money. So if we're going to call $1 our whole amount, well, we can split that up into quarters. There are 4 quarters, so 1/4 would be 1/4 of a dollar. We don't really use that, but that's kind of what we can think about it. And 1/4 is worth 25 cents. So 1/4 is the same as 0.25 or 25 hundredths. 2/4, well, that's 2 quarters, which would be worth 50 cents. 3/4 would be 75 cents. Then if you want to move on to other coins, we could have, still looking at $1, a dime is 10 cents, right? Or 0.1, which is the same as 1/10. 10 dimes make up that whole. So if we looked at the dollar, and we did tenths, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, close enough. 1/10 would just be that much of the fraction. Last thing, so on formative, to type in your answers, remember a fraction is just division. So if you wanted to do 3/4, you would do 3 divided by 4. And that should then get you your fraction. Or you can usually find a button on there that looks something like this. That's also how you can type in a fraction for your answer.